Yeah, hello everybody. This is your guy Benjamin Schnau again for another review of the third episode of We Are the Wave on Netflix here at AfterBuzz TV in Los Angeles. And we definitely gonna talk about Leah, who is now taking control over the wave. Very interesting. But we also see that Tristan and Leah finally have their first kiss. Very exciting. But also a more serious topic about the luxury brands that we're gonna talk about. This and a lot more now in the third episode here at AfterBuzz TV in Los Angeles.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello everyone, this is Benjamin Schnau again. Hello, welcome to another review of the third episode of We Are the Wave on Netflix right here at AfterBuzz TV in Los Angeles. And first of all, I definitely want to start with the very first scene of the show of the third episode, which was very funny to me and also interesting and also scary a little bit because what we see is that they are breaking into this retail store and stealing all these luxury brands. And that was very exciting in a way because I felt like, wow, this is so great that you guys do it. I don't really know why you're doing it at that moment, but I felt like, wow, this is definitely the right thing to do. And then moving on to the next scene where they're about to leave the store and meeting the police officer. And that was, I have to say, I'm not sure how you guys feel about the scene, but for me personally, it was a little staged. I didn't really believe that scene. I feel like a police officer in real life would never react that way. Put yourself into a position, let's say you go into a retail store and you steal something and out of a sudden this police officer is running after you with tear gas and is basically like firing at you and you start crying and something like that. And out of a sudden your colleague comes across and is giving him a leather jacket to the police officer as a gift, and he's so excited about it that he's completely forgetting about all the things. So I'm not sure if you would definitely believe that. I'm not sure if a police officer would be so excited about a leather jacket and out of a sudden just that, takes you away and just gets away with everything that happened before. I'm not sure. It looked very funny in a way, but it doesn't really fit to the whole scenario. That just is my understanding. Maybe I'm too serious, too conservative. Maybe police officers, they react that way if they see a leather jacket. I wouldn't, I think, if I would work as a police officer, but it was very funny to see. But that also shows very, very interesting part is that Leah is taking control over the whole situation, which is the first time. It's not Tristan who is now taking care of her, it's the other way around. And this is the very first time that we see that. So Leah is coming out of the van and is presenting this leather jacket to the police officer and is kind of manipulating him to take it and just get away with it. And Tristan is kind of shocked about it and he didn't even know how to react to the whole situation, which was very helpless. He seemed very helpless for the very first time because remember the first two episodes, Tristan really comes across like this rebel who has an answer for everything. But now out of a sudden Leah has to help him. So that was a really big change in dynamics here right now in the third episode. And as we see further down the line in the third episode that Leah is taking over the complete wave. So she thinks like, hey, I want to make that bigger right now. I want to make a big thing out of it. I want to include even more people to make the wave movement even bigger. So we have more people to do more projects to change the world even faster and bigger and whatever it is. And I was like, wow, let's wait a second. Is that a smart way of doing that? Does that always work? Does it mean that just because you have a group of people, like a tiny group of people who's doing great things right now, does the same thing also work for different or bigger groups at some point? And Tristan has a very valid point that's, and is saying to her, hey, you know what? You shouldn't do that because you're going to lose control. Trust me, I had experience. I did that before. I was in a situation like that. If the group becomes too big, it's not going to work out anymore. Trust me, you're going to lose control. But Leah, you can see the dynamics is changing. Leah doesn't believe him. She feels like she can do whatever she feels like. And for her, it's the right thing to do right now. But as we can see, Leah is having a speech in front of everybody, which was also very exciting to see because I never expected her to be in that position. Let me tell what you guys think. Honestly, she feels like complete leader out of a sudden. She changed completely. At the beginning she was following Tristan and now it feels like Tristan is kind of following her even without realizing it. But Leah is having a speech to all these people and these people get so excited about to help these animals at the end, right? Because they want to go to the slaughterhouse to help these animals. But Leah doesn't even realize that no one is really listening to her. She still believes that she has the power of everybody. And the people are leaving, going to this institution, and out of a sudden it gets completely out of control. And this is the first time I think when Leah realizes, oh my God, I'm not myself anymore. I didn't even know what I was doing, but now it's too late already. That's chaos, and I just have to handle the situation. So there was a beautiful scene of her with her facial expression at the end, but I feel like, wow, what is going to happen in the next episode? Because how is she handle the situation, especially at the end? Tristan, he's kind of dealing with his weed. He's selling weed to these like rich kids. He's making good money, right? Going back to the prison where he's living at right now, making good money for himself and his buddy. And Leah is not really interested in that. And I'm always wondering, what is their real relationship, Tristan and Leah? Do they really love each other? Do they have feelings for each other? Or is it more like because they're part of the wave? Is it because of that movement they're kind of feeling for each other? It's very different if you think about it for a second. If you feel something for somebody because you believe in the same thing, or do you really feel for someone because you just feel for the human being as the person? So I'm not sure about Leah. I feel like Leah is so influenced right now by the movement because she feels like she's so powerful and she can do whatever she wants, that she's just thinking about that, and she's completely ignoring all the facts that Tristan is selling weed, that he's still in this prison and he's trying to figure out his whole life and what is about his future. These are all things that she's not interested in. And I feel like Leah is just living in the moment right now. So completely different than the first episode. Because remember, Leah was this female, this girl playing tennis every day, going to tournaments. She wants to become a big tennis player. And now out of a sudden, this is all gone for her. She's just living in the moment and wants to change the whole world, which is a good thing. But I think she's also losing herself a little bit in this environment, right? Let me know what you think. I feel like a very drastic change in dynamics right now in the third episode, but really fun to see. And also interesting about the fourth episode because I feel like Tristan now has to come back into the picture. He has to change the situation. So I'm very interested in how they're going to handle that. But also coming back to Tristan and also his situation, his personal situation, because I think all of us were always asking ourselves, okay, where is he coming from? Why is he the person he is? And why does he do all these things? And the answer is very simple. He is coming from a very wealthy background himself. And I had a feeling that this is the case. I think he just escaped his own environment. And that happens quite often to some people that, you live in a very wealthy environment. You basically have a controlled life. You do what people tell you to do. Even if you're rich and you have all the money in the world, you also want to break out, right? You just want to do something completely crazy. You want to become the rebel. And I think that's exactly what he did. He just said, hey, you know what? I have all the money in the world, but that's not what life is all about. That's not enough for me. I just want to leave and do my own thing. And he left, and he became part of that group in Hamburg, right? He talked about that in the second episode. And then he just wanted to change something against these weapon dealers, right? This weapon company who is creating and producing all these weapons, selling it to different countries. He just wanted to, and he's honest about it, he just wanted to beat up the CEO of that company to basically have the company close down and have an end. And I like that idea, obviously. So he had a good cause. He just wanted to make it right, but with the wrong action, obviously. And he he bet up the wrong guy, and now he's basically went to prison for that. So that's basically kind of the wrong thing, still for the right cause. So, it's hard to say if it's right or wrong. I still like him for it because he's just trying to make it right for the whole world. He's trying to change the world for the better. But, he's definitely, hopefully, he's coming out of prison. That's my feeling. But coming back to the good things in life and hopefully making the world a better place. The first scene, remember, when they are in the retail store and stealing all these luxury brands, there's this one scene where Leah is also talking about these luxury brands. And this is a very present thing that's going on right now, even for our lives. And I felt like the story writers did a great job in pointing that out right now. Because think about it yourself. You go into a store and you like all these luxury brands like, Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all these big names. But then at some point, you also have to think about, okay, how do they produce all that stuff? And where do they do it? What people are really working on these products? And that's a very interesting thing. And, I don't want to say every company, but the stories about companies who go to different countries, even let kids work for it, like, using animals, and doing all these crazy, bad, dangerous stuff against humanity and also against animals and everything, just to have a cheaper product, in the production, but then selling it for even more to us, for example. And that's a very important topic we have to talk about. And I think Leah does a great job in pointing that out. So I wanted to say thank you to the story writers to point that out because it's an ongoing thing, right? We know about that for decades already, but nothing is really changing that much, I feel, for me personally. But I just hope that the show is also doing a little bit towards like changing it and that people just think about it. I think we just have to be open for it. We just have to be open for it and not be so subjective, just thinking, hey, do we always have to buy that stuff because it's this brand or it's a little cheaper than anything else? Or do we say, hey, this was maybe produced in our own country, we pay a little bit more, but we know where it's coming from and who produced that, and it's not against humanity or against animals or something, right? So that's really something I wanted to point out as well today, and it would be really great to hear your opinion about it. Let me know what you think. Please write some comments, right, in German or English. I would definitely like to hear about that topic too, because it's very important to talk about that. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me today on the review of the third episode of We Are the Wave on Netflix here at AfterBuzz TV in Los Angeles. And I can't wait for next week because I definitely want to see what Leah is doing now because she's in chaos. She lost control. And I have a feeling, I don't know what you think, but maybe Tristan is coming back and is, saving her and the world, hopefully. Thank you so much. If you guys want to follow me, you can do that on Instagram and also Facebook. It's @BenjaminSchnau, like the dog. You know what I'm talking about. Thanks so much. Have a great week and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.